I'm Alan Cylinder. I'm here with my daughter Chelsea Cylinder. We're here to talk about some movies. Recently we saw 3 indie films that are worthy of attention. And the 3 films are...
Well, we saw The Spectacular Now, starring Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley. We saw In a World, written by, directed by, and also starring Lake Bell. And finally, we saw Drinking Buddies, starring Olivia Wilde, Anna Kendrick, Ron Livingston, and Jake Johnson.
And that film was directed by Joe Swanberg. Joe Swanberg is a proponent of an early proponent of the mumblecore movement, which is a very bare bones type of filmmaking movement. And this is his attempt to make more of a mainstream movie, albeit a very low budget mainstream movie, but still more of a mainstream movie. And it's a pretty entertaining one with a terrific star turn from Olivia Wilde. She's been getting a lot of work, good work lately. And this is a real showcase for her talent, and it's a pretty entertaining film.
I thought so too, yeah. I thought she was really good. One thing that I really liked about the movie was that all of the actors seemed really natural, almost as if they were improvising. And when we were at the screening, the director was there, and he had told us that there was a script, but it was just a very loose script, and the actors were basically improvising throughout the whole movie. So I had never seen that before. I thought that was really interesting.
Well, that's because I haven't shown you any John Cassavetes movies. I need to do that.
I need to do that.
We'll make a note of that. But yes, it is primarily improvised, and it's an entertaining film. Mm-hmm. In a World, which also has a terrific star turn by Lake Bell, and was written and directed by her as well, is a film that didn't quite live up to my expectation because it has kind of an esoteric premise that I was really looking forward to seeing executed. It's about voiceover artists, and in particular, the people who do the voiceovers for movie trailers, which is predominantly a male-oriented industry. And in the movie, she wants to become the queen of the voiceover artists for movie trailers. A nice premise, something different that you don't see very often.
Definitely.
And some of the writing, though, is not quite up to what I would hope. And her directing is fine, but her star turn is terrific. She really holds the screen. She has terrific charisma, and she's you can't take your eyes off her when she's on the screen, which is quite a compliment to give to someone, I would think.
No, I completely agree with that. One thing for me, I wasn't completely in love with this movie, but I didn't really have very high expectations of the movie from the start. So I can't really say it met my expectations or didn't meet my expectations. But one thing that I did think was very interesting about the movie was the premise, because I had never seen anything like that before. So even if I didn't love the movie, it still held my interest because it was something totally new and kind of unpredictable, I guess, because I didn't know much about voiceovers for movie trailers, and so everything was kind of fresh. Nothing could be cliched because the premise was so original. So I really liked that. And I thought her direction was good also. Yeah, especially for like a debut.
Yes,
it's not exactly a debut because she's done some TV, but you know.
But it's worth seeing. The best of the 3 movies that we saw, I think, is The Spectacular Now. This is a film that was written by the guys who wrote 500 Days of Summer, Scott Neustadter and Mike Weber, and directed by Robert Ponsoldt. And Robert Ponsoldt had just come off a film, another indie film called Smashed, which was about alcoholism. And this film also has as its main character a high school student who's unquestionably an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. So apparently Mr. Ponsoldt is very, tunnel-visioned toward movies about drinking or alcoholism.
That may be. I wonder what he'll do next.
I don't know. Maybe a remake of Days of Wine and Roses. Maybe the Lost Weekend too. But, stay tuned. You never know. But this film works within the structure of a teen comedy, but goes way beyond that. It has a lot of dramatic meat to it, and it really has a lot of heft to it. And it has 2 strong performances, particularly. Tell us about the stars of the movie.
Oh, well, the stars of the movie are Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley. Miles Teller, he kind of plays, the popular high school kid, the partier. He drinks a lot. As my dad said, he has a clear problem the alcohol. Shailene Woodley kind of plays the nice girl, the plain Jane, who's really, really intelligent. So the two of them would make an unlikely couple, but in the end, they end up working out. I hope I didn't just give away the ending.
I don't think so.
Spoiler alert!
I had a problem with it seemed at times the writers and the director were working at cross purposes, because there's some ambiguity, particularly in Shailene Woodley's character, that bothered me. Let me first say that Shailene Woodley is absolutely spectacular in the movie. She's the best reason for seeing the movie, I think. She was terrific in The Descendants, and she's absolutely wonderful in this. That said, in the writing, in the second half of the movie, she becomes very needy herself. And also, she very subtly is becoming a burgeoning alcoholic. Mm-hmm. None of this is addressed in the script. Now, it could just be that it's leaving it there intentionally so that you have something that's a little more interesting than your usual fare. It could also be that the directors and the writers are working at cross purposes and one doesn't really understand how the other should be interpreted. Nevertheless, all minor flaws aside, The Spectacular Now is a really good movie. I think the best of the three that we saw.
I agree.
And I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, personally, I really like seeing romantic comedies and things like that, so this movie had an interest. I was interested in it. But when I saw it, it wasn't exactly what I expected, because it is the stereotypical, romantic comedy, and it starts off that way especially, but it's a lot heavier than I expected, and it's interesting because it's a spin on the stereotypical romantic comedy, and I like that. I think it's definitely worth seeing.
I would agree. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
For this discussion of movies.
Thank you.
And we will be back soon with another discussion of more movies.
So stay tuned.